As a working parent, do you ever feel like you're playing the ultimate game of Survivor? Each day brings a new challenge, and you're pushing through every obstacle to reach the finish line. 2 in 5 workers are parents with children under 18, so you know you aren't alone. But the challenges can be brutal and make you feel like you're living on an island trying to stay afloat. Well, today I stand before you to discuss a topic that touches the hearts and minds of countless individuals around our organization: the balancing act of being a working parent. My story might resonate with so many of you, one that's filled with triumphs, struggles, and an unwavering quest for balance, in a world that often seems determined to pull us in every direction but the right one. If you had asked me 12 years ago to give a RED talk about being a working parent, I would have found it amusing or unlikely. I used to be far from the image of composure that many see today. Truth is, I'm still trying to find that balance. I've worked many jobs since I was a kid, dating back to the first grade when I would pretend I was sick. My mom taught me lessons early by bringing me to her office the whole day and making me file never-ending paperwork. I have a lot to be grateful for, and I credit my work ethic to what I witnessed my mom do throughout my entire childhood. It's not uncommon to find working parents stuck in a bind that they have to bring their kids to work, but it isn't easy. Looking back from what I know now, my mom probably had the same anxiety I had when the only option was to bring my daughter to the office. I witnessed both our on-site and HQ parents struggle to find the balance, afraid of what their team leads would say or think, knowing they had to pick up their kid early from school or daycare because they coughed or sneezed in class and they had no other choice. My first ask of you is this: be understanding and non-judgmental when a team member has to bring their kid to work. It's often a last-minute decision after a series of attempts to manage the situation. In my early 20s, I believed I had all the answers, partied excessively, and worked in the service industry while facing difficulties in staying in college or planning for my future. Things took a turn when I became a 23-year-old single mom and a college dropout. Shortly after, I stumbled upon the world of student housing, working as a full-time leasing agent to make ends meet. Things didn't start so great for me in this industry, sharing a one-bedroom apartment with a toddler and struggling to pay the bills. Statistics show that children in single-parent households graduate college at a 26% lower rate than those raised by both parents. However, I was determined to give my daughter the life she deserved and to not let her be just another statistic because of the choices I made. I was hired on by my regional manager, who I still to this day look up as a mentor. She was just a couple of years older than I was, and she started in student housing as a community intern when she was in college. She told me the possibilities were endless in this industry, so I knew if I put in the work, the reward was going to be worth it. There were many challenges along the way, which included working after hours, doing bar nights, holding late-night call centers, and resident events. It's not that working parents don't want to show up, it's just not always that easy to find after-hour care. Programs like care.com weren't always around like they are now. So my advice, reach out to HR and get the most out of this benefit. Trust me, you'll thank me later. I showed up to work every day, never called out, and didn't take full advantage of my PTO. Despite that, my community manager at the time pulled me into her office just a couple of months into my new role as a leasing agent, sat me down, and told me, maybe student housing isn't right for you. Words like these happen more than you think in the workplace. According to a recent study by Good Hire, 82% of workers said that they would potentially quit their job because of a bad manager. I was determined to use that negative feedback as fuel to continue driving me forward. I challenge you to take a step back and think before you speak, because you never know the impact of your words might have on a team member. Less than a year into my career, I met my now husband, who became an incredible source of support. I say without a doubt that I wouldn't have made it in my career without my people. My family was an hour away, so it was comforting to have someone else to talk to other than my 2-year-old. When I was presented with an irresistible offer to go from a leasing agent to an assistant community manager, his support gave me the confidence to make that leap. I was told that if I wanted to grow rapidly in this industry and I was willing to put in the work, moving to Baton Rouge would be my big break. The initial months after relocating were far from easy, with numerous obstacles along the way. However, every challenge I encountered only made me stronger. Relocating offered endless possibilities, and as I advanced to the role of the community manager a year later, I was faced with even greater demands. with work constantly intruding on family time. Late night reports quickly took away from bedtime stories, and after-hour team meetings meant less playtime with my child. I was exhausted. This juggling act was a common struggle for working parents. At the age of 4, my daughter hit me with a question. Mom, why are you always working and not playing with me? This one sentence prompted me to reassess my priorities. This moment marked a turning point, and I started to redefine what work-life balance meant to me. I made the decision to leave work at the office and ultimately parted ways with a company that didn't align with my values. Fast forward to 2019. I was a regional leasing manager, a dream job I'd worked so hard to get. The progress I'd been making for the last 5 years was finally starting to come together, until out of nowhere, my team and I received the unsettling news that we would no longer be managed by our current company, and Cardinal Group would be taking over. At 9 months pregnant and having made significant career strides, I was faced with uncertainty. The question of whether I'd have a job on October 14th weighed heavily on my mind. A colleague of mine made a comment to me that I will never forget. What are you gonna do? You know they won't take you because you're pregnant. Again, another negative comment that could have ultimately halted me in my career, but I kept going. Cardinal Group embraced me during a challenging time, even when I was 9 months pregnant. Just 2 weeks into the transition, I embarked on my fully paid 3-month maternity leave, a period of complete disconnection from work. Cardinal's commitment to this blackout period allows team members to bond with their babies. I often hear from team members that they didn't take full advantage and did leave early. 3 months might seem like a significant amount of time, but you'll be back to your normal routine just like you never left. My challenge to you, team members, advocate for yourselves and utilize this amazing benefit. Team leads establish a culture and trust and empathy that allows your teams to take full advantage of the 90 days guilt-free. Shortly after returning from leave, COVID hit, turning life upside down for everyone. It was an immense challenge for working parents from all over the world as we began juggling homeschool, working full-time, and the stress that came along with it. So many working parents have felt this fear and uncertainty, with 69% of the workforce believing that working mothers are more likely to be passed over for a promotion. Surprisingly, amidst it all, I found out I was expecting my 3rd child, a pregnancy that wasn't planned. Now, here I was, pregnant with my 2nd Cardinal baby in less than a year, trying to get my feet back on the ground. And I had to face my leaders yet again and tell them that my time would be limited. Much to my surprise, they were completely supportive, which drew me closer to them and to Cardinal. In addition to the community I was building with my team and my leaders, I found common ground in the Working Parents BRG. A year ago, when we founded this group, we sent out a survey to all members and asked, what topics would you like to see discussed? The responses were overwhelmingly focused on work-life balance, with 65% of respondents highlighting and juggling this act. I proudly served as the chair of the BRG for a year, helping working parents and allies alike build a dialogue around our shared values and challenges. I urge you to be intentional about finding your own work-life balance, even if it's just an hour a day. It doesn't have to be right at 12 p.m. For me, it's a 9 a.m. spin class that I attend in the mornings. You'd be surprised how energizing just 1 hour of you time can be. Throughout my career, I've had many regrets, some of which I'll never be able to rectify, like missing my son's 1st birthday. I was too concerned about how it might impact my career that I didn't advocate for myself. But the only one it truly hurt was me and my son. These experiences have inspired me to be the kind of leader others look up to. I do not question team members' time off requests, and I push them to never be afraid to take time away to be present for school functions. I aim to support my teams in doing the same for their families as I do for mine. So let us continue this collective journey with an open heart, supporting one another, sharing our experiences, and fostering a world where being a working parent is not seen as a hindrance, but a source of strength and inspiration. Utilize our wonderful benefit programs. Lead with empathy and understanding, and build supportive communities. Let us work together to end the game of Survivor.